Raider Nation, what's going on? You're watching Raiders Report, and I'm Mitchell Renz, your host for today's show. Today's show, off-season grades. I'm breaking down the biggest off-season additions the Oakland Raiders made on offense. So whether that was going out for trading for a player, adding a player in free agency, or re-signing a bunch of these players, the Raiders made a ton of moves, and it's been one heck of an offseason, and I appreciate everybody coming along for the ride here at the #1 Raiders show on YouTube. So let's get into some of those grades. The first one, the Raiders went out and traded for Antonio Brown. This one is an A-plus grade. It's kind of hard not to. He is one of the best wide receivers in the NFL, and the fact that the Raiders got him for as cheap as they did, I challenge anybody right now, right? So I know a bunch of you guys like Madden. I want you to go out and try to get Antonio Brown for a 3rd and 5th round pick on Madden. Good luck. It ain't going to happen because he's been one of the best wide receivers in the NFL. When you look at what this dude has done the last 4 years, our graphic only shows the last 4 years, but he's had over 1,000 yards 6 straight years. Last year, a career-high 15 touchdowns. 2017, 1,533 yards. Heck, 2015, 136 catches, the second most all-time, 1,834 yards. Why are these numbers absolutely insane? Think about this. In 2017 and 2015, if AB puts up those numbers, he beats Tim Brown's record for most receiving yards in Raiders history. Fingers crossed 2019, we get similar production. So, I'm going to ask you, what is Antonio Brown going to do in 2019? I want you to project his receptions. I want you to project his yards, project his touchdowns. Let me know in the comments section if you're watching on YouTube. If you're watching on Facebook, what will Antonio Brown do for the Oakland Raiders in 2019? All right, more school. This one, though, I'm going to only give a B grade. Trent Brown joining the Raiders. I think when the signing first went down, I gave it an A-plus grade because the Raiders allowed 52 sacks, and Trent Brown, I thought, was going to be able to protect Derek Carr's blind side. The reason why I'm dropping it down to a B grade now is because Colt Miller is going to play left tackle, and you're paying Trent Brown $16.5 million to now be your right tackle. He is the highest paid tackle in the league, and I think that's the kind of money that you give to somebody protecting their blind side. I'm not taking away from Trent Brown. Trent Brown is 380 pounds of just a full dude, a very, very big man. And now I see Colt Miller, Richie Incognito, Rodney Hudson, Gabe Jackson, and Trent Brown. I think the Raiders now have a top 5 offensive line, or at least have the ability to be a top 5 offensive line in the NFL. So Trent Brown, I'm giving it a B grade. But you guys know the show is not about me. It's about the nation. Great Trent Brown signing. A, B, C, D, or F. I would be astonished if I saw anything other than A or B. You want to give it an A minus, a B plus? Let me know in the comments section. Facebook, YouTube. You guys know what to do. Let's get into the next player here. It's Tyrell Williams. He signed a 4-year, $44 million deal with with $22 million guaranteed. Big receiver, legit speed. The fact that he's going to be opposite of Antonio Brown, I think this is really going to open up things for Tyrell Williams. So, like I said before, I mentioned AB, that's an A-plus grade. When it comes down to Tyrell, though, what he's done the last 4 years, 41 catches last year, 653 yards, 5 touchdowns in 2017, but 2016 is the year that I really want to see Tyrell get back to. When I look at the number 2 options that Derek Carr has had the last 5 years, they've averaged 109 targets. I project personally for Tyrell to be around 65 catches, 1,066 yards, and 7 touchdowns. But I'm going to ask you guys, project Tyrell Williams' 2019 stats. How many targets is he going to get? How many receptions? How many yards? How many touchdowns? Heck, what's his YPC? I'm all about it. Here at the Raiders Report, I want you guys to be as much of a voice as me. I want you guys to interact with me too. Okay? Can we do that? Project Tyrell Williams' 2019 stats. And also, come on, make sure you guys subscribe to the #1 Raiders channel here on YouTube. It's youtube.com/Raiders Report. If your friends aren't on it, tell them to get with the program. And also, make sure you guys turn on those notifications. It's the thing that looks like a bell, so you know exactly when I go live, so you know exactly when I post my videos. Because, pro tip, I share people who comment first and who like my videos way more on the show. Pro tip. Another pro tip, I'm giving this one a B- grade. It's J.J. Nelson. Mike Mayock came out and said that he wanted to add speed around Derek Carr. So what did he do? He went out and got J.J. Nelson. The dude can absolutely fly. He ran a 4.2840 at the 2015 Combine. I think I would run a 4.2820. And that's maybe. But he played for the Cardinals the last 4 years, but also the important thing with JJ, because you're about to see his 2018 stats, and they're not that great. They're really not. But J.J. Nelson adds that speed, and he's also going to be a solid player for the Raiders on special teams. Now, his career stats in 56 games, the number that I want you to look at is 17.8 yards per catch. That is big-time speed. So whether or not J.J. Nelson's going to have a lot of receptions or yards, the one thing that I can guarantee you J.J. Nelson bringing is that speed. And when you have vertical threat, that's really going to scare teams, and then they can't double up Tyrell, and they might not be able to bracket cover Antonio Brown. J.J. Nelson's speed is going to open up a lot of things for this Raiders offense, especially that running game for Josh Jacobs. Grading, off-season additions here. We're keeping this one rolling with Ryan Grant, my lowest grade thus far. It's a C- grade. He signed a one-year deal with $1.25 million cap hit. If the Raiders cut him, they save $1.15 million. So if you're a loyal watcher, you'll know that I've talked about Ryan Grant being a potential cut. And I mean, the fact that he's already behind Hunter Renfrow on the depth chart, it's why I'm giving it a C- grade. I've seen what Ryan Grant's done the last 4 years. It's nothing all that special to me. When he was playing with the Washington Redskins, there was that year in 2017 for all you guys out there who play fantasy football. People are like, oh, Ryan Grant's going to have a breakout year. He's going to have a breakout year. I don't know. I've seen enough of Ryan Grant to know that Hunter Renfrow is better. And if you want to say he's going to be a safety blanket, just give me Jalen Richard, who, guess what, you're going to see here a little bit later in the show. If you're going to ask me right now, I would personally rather the Raiders just cut Ryan Grant. So you probably know where I'm going to go with this one. The better signing thus far. I want you to give me a thumbs up for J.J. Nelson or a laughing face for Ryan Grant. And if you're watching the show, and Mom, I really hope you are. If you don't know how to get to these emojis, maybe just slide in my DMs at Mitchell Renz 365, and I can help you out a little bit. All right, let's do a quick recap here of these 5 offseason additions. Antonio Brown, I'm giving this one an A+ grade. Trent Brown, I'm giving that a B grade. Tyrell Williams, I'm giving that an A grade. J.J. Nelson, B-. Ryan Grant, C-. I also want to give an A+ grade to Raider Nation, and shout out much love to Nation DFW, because man, I had one hell of a time this weekend. I met a bunch of people who watched the show, and we took a lot of pictures. So if you guys just want to cycle through these, I want to give a special shout out to my man who owns the restaurant at Matito's. He's wearing a Khalil Mack jersey, so don't hate on him a little bit too much there. His name's Alex Mora. Great dude. Hooked me up. Maybe one of the most memorable experiences was this picture here coming up. I walked in the door, and these 2 kids started screaming, and they wanted the picture with me. Absolutely amazing. It's probably one of the most memorable things. And this last picture was probably the last one that I took, and you can tell because my eyes are literally closed. So I want to give a special shout out to the Nation at DFW for throwing down an awesome party. If anybody wants a t-shirt or if anybody wants a beer at any time, hit me up on IG or Twitter at Mitchell Renz 365. But Raider Nation, much love to y'all. All right, let's keep these grades rolling. Mike Glennon, maybe the ugliest dude in the Raiders, signed a one-year, $2 million deal. He played just 2 games last year for Arizona. Career stats, nothing all that great. Now, why is it a C grade? Because it's just an average move to me. If there's one thing that all y'all should know, it's the importance of having a backup quarterback. Why? Because Derek went down in 2016, and then I was forced to watch Connor Cook try to play quarterback in the playoffs, and it was in probably the worst playoff game I have ever seen in my entire life. So here's the Raiders quarterback depth chart, and what scares me is Nathan Peterman's the only guy behind there. And yeah, we just cut Landry Jones, which is a move. I'm still not quite sure why we even brought him in. And it's kind of scary to think that Nathan Peterman is better, as I said that really weird, better than Landry Jones. But here's the thing. I will give Mike Glennon some credit. He's a solid backup quarterback, and I'm really hoping I never see him on the field. Hoping Derek can prove it in 2019, and hoping he's on the team in 2020. Jalen Richard, this is my dude. He's getting an A grade for the Raiders, re-signing him a one-year, $3 million deal. Tied team leader in receptions in 2018, tied with Jared Cook, who is no longer on the team. And I think he's a great safety blanket for Derek Carr. So one of the things that Carr gets hit on a lot for is being checked down. I've said it multiple times on the show, but when you don't have receivers that can get open, sometimes you have to check it down to Jalen Richard. Now, this year with AB, Tyrell Williams, we got some other options there. Hopefully he doesn't have to check it down to Jalen as much. But Richard was a very, very reliable option for Derek Carr last year. I mean, heck, 68 receptions tied with Jared Cook. You notice a lot of these other names on this screen? Guess who's the only guy left? Jalen Richard with 68 catches, had more than Jordy, had more than Seth, and had more than that last guy who I am not going to mention on my show. So, Jalen Richard had 68 receptions last year for the Oakland Raiders. So, if you guys watch the show, you know what I'm going to ask you. How many receptions for Jalen Richard in 2019? My initial projection when I first started covering the Raiders for Richard for this year was 52. So I'm going to go with my number, 52. If you think it's going to be over 52, comment below. If you think it's going to be under, comment. How many receptions for Jalen Richard in 2019? Also, make sure you guys subscribe to the Raiders Report here on YouTube, youtube.com/Raiders Report. And guys, make sure you interact with me on IG and on Twitter at Mitchell Renz 365. I try to do my best to get in my DMs. So for everyone who does actually slide in, I'm telling you, before I go to bed every single night, I check my DMs and I do my best to answer. So if I don't get to you right away, please be patient. Please be patient. But make sure you guys subscribe. YouTube.com/Raiders Report. You want to see me, Dougie? Nah, I'm kidding. All right, grade B for Doug Martin. I like this move simply because when Isaiah Crowell went down with his Achilles injury, I was like, oh man, the Raiders, they have to go out and they have to add another running back. What I really like about the Doug Martin signing and why I'm giving it a B is because Martin's going to mentor Josh Jacobs. You want to talk about a running back who's been through the ups and downs? It's Doug Martin. Doug Martin, his rookie year, rushed for over 1,400 yards. The very next year, rushed for under 600 yards. Doug Martin's had 2 years where he's rushed for over 1,400 yards. I think Doug knows what it takes to be great, and he also knows when you get lazy, because when he got paid, the dude got lazy. Sorry, Doug. But he did lead the Raiders in rushing yards and carries in 2018. I think bringing in some of that experience to then be able to show Josh Jacobs, who we drafted in the first round of the 2019 NFL Draft, is important, right? So 172 carries for Doug, but he also had 723 yards. I mean, that's over 4.2 yards per carry. And the fact that he's a veteran, going to be able to teach Josh Jacobs, and worst case scenario, let's say he's our third, fourth running back on our depth chart, that depth is why I'm giving it a B grade. Let's get into a recent signing here. The Raiders, they went out and got Erik Swoope. And I'm giving this one only a C grade because I think it's average at best. He signed a 1-year, $645K deal. Why is everyone excited about Erik Swoope? Because in the NFL, as soon as you see tight end that played college basketball, and oh, guess what? He played college basketball at Miami, where Jimmy Graham played college basketball. People get excited, and I get it. He's a big dude, he's athletic, and I understand that one of the team's biggest needs is tight end. But he's not better than Darren Waller. I can tell you that right now. He's not better than Foster Moreau. And I don't know if he's more of a rounded tight end than Luke Wilson with 2 L's. I'm not quite sure. And when you look at these numbers the last 4 years, I'm hoping the trend doesn't continue with DNP, because if it's a DNP in 2019, I don't really know why we're going out and paying this guy $645K. If all I got to do to make $645K is to not participate, Chat Sports, if you're watching, slide in $645K into my bank account. That's all I'm saying. Last guy who I'm going to grade is Richie Incognito. I'm giving this one a B grade. If we get 2015 to 2017 version of Richie Incognito, who is a straight-up Pro Bowler, who is a mean dude, and who's blasting away for the running backs, it's an A grade. If I get psychopath Richie Incognito, you might want to give it a B, because you better be careful, because this dude is nuts. Like, he really is clinically insane, but he's going to bring toughness. He's going to be able to really open up holes for Josh Jacobs. Like, do you guys remember in 2015, 2016 when it was Carlos Williams, LaShawn McCoy, when the Bills were leading the NFL in rushing yards? One of the big reasons was because of psychopath Richie Incognito. Like, the dude's nuts, but the fact that he's going to be able to really, really insert his dominance, I think, on this offensive line, that's why I'm saying it's a medium risk. It's definitely a medium risk, but there is a very, very high reward. So grade the Richie Incognito signing. Scale 1 to 10. 1, you absolutely hate it. 10, you absolutely love it. So grade the Richie Incognito signing 1 to 10. If you want to know what I think, hit me up. IG, Twitter, Mitchell Renz 365. All right, let's take you through these grades one more time here, because I don't know about you in school, I forgot things. So Antonio Brown, A+. Trent Brown, B. Tyrell, A. J.J. Nelson, B-. Ryan Grant, my lowest grade, C-. Mike Glennon, I'm giving you a C. Jalen Richard, an A. Dougie, B. Erik Swoope, grade of a C. Richie Incognito, a B grade. But guess what, Raider Nation? If you guys don't like my grades, one of the best things you can do here at Chat Sports is you can hit me up on IG and on Twitter at Mitchell Renz 365. Give me your personal grades, but if there's one thing that I need you to do, it's subscribe at youtube.com/Raiders Report. We are getting so close to 20,000 subscribers. For 10,000 subscribers, I dyed my hair gray. If you guys want to let me know what you want me to do for 20K subscribers, throw it in the comments section. But again, subscribe, youtube.com/Raiders Report. Raider Nation, what's going on? Is this the #1 Raiders channel on YouTube? For Chucky heads, believe it, baby. And if you haven't already, subscribe right here. I'm giving you Chucky heads, news, rumors, Raider Nation rumors. And look at this, I'm making your life easier. Check out my next video. Thanks for watching, and go Raiders.